Welcome to Amaravati, today's daily sports roundup. Stay updated with the latest highlights, scores, and thrilling moments from the world of sports, all in one place. Las Vegas. Argentine Formula One rookie Franco-Colapinto has been cleared to race in Saturday's Las Vegas Grand Prix after crashing heavily in qualifying, his Williams team said. The 21-year-old hit the wall during the second phase of Friday night session, sustaining an impact of more than 50 G and leaving debris from the wrecked car scattered across the track. Las Vegas. Pierre Gasly kept his focus on Formula One's midfield battle despite the thrill of qualifying a surprise third for Saturday's Las Vegas Grand Prix. The French driver's grid position was Renault-owned Alpine's best of the season and followed their remarkable podium double at the previous race in Brazil. Las Vegas. Formula One leader Max Verstappen said he was surprised to be ahead of title challenger Lando Norris after qualifying fifth for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, despite a rear-wing disadvantage. Verstappen's Red Bull has been slower on the Las Vegas straights than his rivals, with the team explaining they had not designed a special low-downforce rear wing for cost reasons. Las Vegas. George Russell put Mercedes on pole for the Las Vegas Grand Prix on Friday as Max Verstappen moved a step closer to a fourth successive Formula One title by qualifying ahead of Lando Norris. Red Bull's Verstappen, who will retain his crown with 2 rounds to spare if he beats Norris on Saturday, secured 5th place on the grid with his McLaren rival 6th. Las Vegas. George Russell topped the timesheets in the final practice ahead of qualifying at the Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix on Friday, beating out McLaren's Oscar Piastri and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz. Mercedes' Russell set the pace with a lap of 1 minute, 33.570 seconds, 0.215 clear of Piastri, and 0.348 better than Sainz in a session that saw a late red flag. Vigo, Spain. Barcelona manager Hansi Flick said his errant players only had themselves to blame for their 2-2 draw at Celta Vigo in La Liga on Saturday, and they were lucky to go back home with a point. Barca opened 2-goal lead thanks to goals by Captain Raphinha and Robert Lewandowski, but after Marc Casado was sent off with second yellow card in the 82nd minute, the home side fought back with 2 late strikes. Vigo, Spain. Celta Vigo fought back with 2 late goals in quick succession to hold La Liga leaders Barcelona to a highly entertaining 2-2 draw on Saturday. It looked like Barca were cruising towards victory after they opened a 2-goal lead thanks to strikes by Captain Raphinha in the 15th minute and by Robert Lewandowski in the 61st, but the script changed after their midfielder Marc Casado was sent off due to a second yellow card for a foul in the 82nd minute. Turin, Italy. New Zealand labored to a 29-11 win over a brave, battling Italy on Saturday as the All Blacks wrapped up their autumn series with a less than impressive victory where the anticipated Tri-Fest failed to materialize. The visitors had been expected to take out their disappointment from the loss to France last weekend on an Italian side which had struggled in recent games, losing heavily to Argentina and getting a comeback win over Georgia. Manchester, England. New Manchester United's manager Ruben Amorim is known for an ability to connect with players that many say his predecessor Erik ten Hag did not possess, but the 39-year-old thinks he can be stern when he needs to be. The Portuguese cut a charismatic figure in his first press conference as United head coach on Friday, and his warm rapport, especially with the 9 journalists who traveled from Portugal, only added to his reputation for genuine likability. Girona's rediscovered form is thanks to the return of players from injury, which has given the side new energy, coach Michel said after they thrashed Espanyol 4-1 in La Liga on Saturday. Michel's side had endured a shaky start to the season, but moved up to 5th in the standings on 21 points after a superb home victory featuring a Bojan Majewski brace and goals by Brian Gill and Ladislav Krejci. Malaga, Spain. Defending champions Italy moved into the Davis Cup final after a 2-0 win over Australia on Saturday as Yannick Sinner defeated Alex de Minaur in straight sets to follow up Matteo Berrettini's victory over Thanasi Kokkinakis. A repeat of last year's final ended with the same result and with world number 1 Sinner again seeing off de Minaur, sending Italy into Sunday's final where they will meet the Netherlands who have reached the decider for the first time. Manchester, England. While Pep Guardiola finds himself in uncharted territory, losing 5 consecutive games for the first time in his outstanding managerial career, the Manchester City boss said sticking together would be key for his players during this calamitous run. Guardiola's men suffered a shock 4-0 rout by Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League on Saturday and, despite a loss that was their most lopsided at Etihad Stadium and had fans reeling, the Catalan was measured in his post-game comments. London, Manchester City's calamitous spell continued with a shocking 4-0 rout by Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday, while Arsenal returned to winning ways in the Premier League with a confident 3-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa's winless streak continued when they were held to a 2-2 draw at home to lowly Crystal Palace. Milan. AC Milan coach Paulo Fonseca sympathized with the fans who booed his players after an unexciting goalless draw against Juventus on Saturday and urged his team to take more risks in the future. Milan and Juventus played out a 0-0 draw in a dull Serie A clash at the San Siro, and the fans greeted the final whistle with a chorus of boos after both sides struggled for chances to take the 3 points. Manchester, England. Manchester City's misery continued with a shock 4-0 Premier League rout by Tottenham Hotspur at Etihad Stadium on Saturday, marking the first time in Pep Guardiola's dazzling managerial career that he has lost 5 games in a row across all competitions. James Maddison scored twice in the span of 7 first-half minutes, while Pedro Porro netted shortly after the break, and Brennan Johnson added a 4th goal deep in added time to end City's club record run of 52 consecutive home matches unbeaten in all competitions. Milan. Juventus came away from the San Siro with a draw against AC Milan on Saturday in a game which offered little entertainment, but manager Thiago Motta was happy with his side's performance. The scoreless draw brought little in the way of chances for either side, but it allowed Juventus to maintain their unbeaten start to the season, where they have kept 10 clean sheets in 13 games. Milan. AC Milan and Juventus played out a 0-0 draw in their Serie A meeting at the San Siro on Saturday, in a game light on entertainment and low on chances. Juventus remained the only unbeaten side in Serie A, but their 7th draw of the season means they remain 6th in the standings and are now 3 points behind leaders Inter Milan. Milan stays 7th, 6 points behind Juve, though they have played 1 game fewer. Leverkusen, Germany. Bayer Leverkusen striker Patrick Schick bagged a hat-trick on Saturday to help the German champions battle back from a 2-goal deficit and crush Heidenheim 5-2 in the Bundesliga. The Czech forward got the nod after Victor Boniface was ruled out with a muscle injury, and he made the most of his chance as Leverkusen won their first match after 3 consecutive league draws. Madrid. Atletico Madrid manager Diego Simeone got emotional as he spoke about his love for the La Liga club and his 700th game where his side came from behind with 2 late goals to beat Deportivo Alavés 2-1 at home on Saturday. Alavés took an early lead from the penalty spot, but Antoine Griezmann equalized in the 76th minute with a spot kick of their own before second-half substitute Alexander Surloff scored in the 86th minute to seal all 3 points and move up to second. Birmingham, England. Ross Barkley headed in a late equalizer as Aston Villa salvaged a 2-2 Premier League draw with lowly Crystal Palace on a wet and windy Saturday afternoon at Villa Park. Ismaila Sarr gave Palace an early lead. Ollie Watkins leveled for Villa, who then had a penalty from Yuri Tielemans saved by Dean Henderson, before Justin Devaney restored Palace's lead in first-half stoppage time. Verona, Italy. Inter Milan coach Simone Inzaghi has praised forward Joaquin Correa for an impeccable display in their 5-0 win at Hellas Verona on Saturday, after the Argentine made his first starting lineup this season. Correa scored a goal and made 2 assists as he stepped in the absence of striker Lautaro Martinez for his 5th start of the campaign across all competitions, with Inter provisionally returning to the Serie A summit. Bournemouth, England. Brighton and Hove Albion beat Bournemouth 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium in the Premier League on Saturday with goals from João Pedro and Kaoru Mitoma, while the visitors were reduced to 10 men when Carlos Baleba was sent off in the second half. Brighton moved up to 5th place in the table with 22 points from 12 matches, trailing 3rd place Chelsea and Arsenal in 4th on goal difference, while Bournemouth dropped to 13th with 15 points ahead of the remaining weekend fixtures. London Arsenal returned to winning ways in the Premier League with Bukayo Saka and captain Martin Odegaard inspiring a comfortable 3-0 home victory against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Mikel Arteta's side desperately needed 3 points to revive their title hopes after 4 league games without a win, and the result never looked in doubt after Schalke's early opener. Leverkusen, Germany. German champions Bayer Leverkusen almost paid a heavy price for a nervous start in their 5-2 comeback win over Heidenheim on Saturday, coach Xabi Alonso said. Leverkusen had to battle back from 2 goals down, with striker Patrick Schick bagging a hat-trick in the process. It was only the second league win in their last 7 games and their first following 3 consecutive draws. Liverpool, England 10-man Brentford picked up a first away point of the Premier League season in a 0-0 draw with toothless Everton at Goodison Park on Saturday, as the home side wasted numerous opportunities to score. Brentford were reduced to 10 men on 41 minutes when midfielder Christian Norgard lunged at Everton goalkeeper Jordan Pickford and was shown a red card after a video assistant referee review. Madrid. Diego Simeone's 700th game in charge of Atletico Madrid ended in a late 2-1 win over Deportivo Alavés in La Liga after Alexander Sørloth rescued the home side with an 86th-minute winner at the Metropolitano Stadium on Saturday. Alavés took an early lead from the penalty spot, but Antoine Griezmann equalized in the 76th minute with a spot kick of their own before second-half substitute Sørloth bagged his 5th goal of the season to seal all 3 points. London Matheus Cunha scored 2 superb goals and set up a third to earn Wolves a 4-1 comeback victory at Fulham in the Premier League on Saturday, extending the visitors' unbeaten run to 4 games and briefly dragging them out of the relegation zone. Fulham should have gone ahead in the 17th minute through Raul Jimenez, but the former Wolves striker somehow turned Antonee Robinson's dangerous cross against the woodwork. Dortmund, Germany. Borussia Dortmund eased past visiting Freiburg 4-0 in the Bundesliga on Saturday to make it 6 league wins from 6 home matches this season and move back up to 5th place. Freiburg, who finished the game with 9 men, had an afternoon to forget following the 63rd minute sending off with a double booking of Patrick Ostage and the second-half stoppage time dismissal of Junior Adamu. Verona, Italy. Inter Milan hammered lowly Hellas Verona 5-0 away from home on Saturday to provisionally move top of Serie A, with all 5 goals coming in the first half. Forward Joaquin Correa opened the scoring after 17 minutes, before Marcus Thuram added a quick-fire double and Stefan de Vrij and Jan Bisek also found the net. Leicester, England goals from Nicholas Jackson and Enzo Fernandez helped Chelsea to a 2-1 Premier League win at Leicester City on Saturday that would have been much more comfortable if Blues winger Noni Madueke had not blocked teammate Cole Palmer's goal-bound shot. Chelsea dominated their hosts for most of the game, but a lack of sharpness in front of goal almost cost them late on as Leicester pulled a goal back through a Jordan Ayew penalty, leading to a nervous final few minutes. Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe has not found the back of the net for more than a month, but manager Carlo Ancelotti believes it is only a matter of time before the French forward breaks his drought. Mbappe has scored only 1 goal in his last 7 games and has gone over 400 minutes without netting for Real Madrid in all competitions as he continues to struggle playing as a center forward. Paris Saint-Germain maintained their unbeaten record in Ligue 1 with a 3-0 win over Toulouse on Friday, but coach Luis Enrique is wary of his side's level ahead of next week's Champions League clash with Bayern Munich. PSG are one of 3 teams in Europe's top 5 to remain unbeaten this season, along with Bundesliga leaders Bayern and Serie A's 6th-placed Juventus, and while Luis Enrique recognizes the quality of his players, he knows that their good run alone will not be enough to win the Champions League. Warren Gatland said he wanted to remain Wales' coach despite a disastrous year in which his side have lost all 11 tests they have played, but admitted his future was uncertain in the wake of Saturday's 45-12 loss to South Africa in Cardiff. Wales are the second Tier 1 nation ever, after Italy 4 years ago, to lose all their tests in a single calendar year in the professional era, and have now extended their record winless run to 12 games. Cardiff, South Africa scored 7 tries as they eased to a 45-12 victory over Wales in their autumn international clash in Cardiff on Saturday, inflicting a 12th successive defeat on their hosts to put more pressure on coach Warren Gatland. The contest was more one-sided than the scoreline suggested, and only the Springboks' inaccuracy prevented it from being a real rout for the inexperienced home side. Dublin, a dominant Ireland thrashed a disjointed and undisciplined Fiji 52-17 at the Aviva Stadium on Saturday, running in 8 tries, 3 of them assisted and 1 scored by debutant hooker Gus McCarthy. The Six Nations champions made a stuttering start to their November series, relinquishing a 19-game home unbeaten run to New Zealand, before almost giving up a big halftime lead in last week's narrow victory over Argentina. Wales have been forced into 2 changes to their side to face South Africa in an autumn international clash in Cardiff on Saturday, with Nicky Smith coming into the side at loosehead prop and Josh Hathaway on the wing. Smith replaced Gareth Thomas, who was ill, while Hathaway comes in for Tom Rogers, who has a calf problem. Michaela Schifrin took a record-extending 99th Alpine Skiing World Cup victory in Austria on Saturday, leaving the American perfectly placed to complete her century on home snow in Vermont next weekend. Schifrin won the slalom in the resort of Gurgel by a comfortable 0.55 of a second from Italian-born Lara Couturi, who skis for Albania, in second place. Hyundai's Thierry Neuville fought back into the points at the season-ending Rally Japan on Saturday to stand on the cusp of his first World Championship. The Belgian, who needs 6 points to clinch the title, started the day 15th after a turbo pressure problem, but moved up to 7th place to secure 4 of the required tally provided he finishes on Sunday. Dubai. Triple Sail GP champions Australia launched their 2025 campaign with authority on Saturday, seizing the lead after the opening day of racing in Dubai. Sporting a striking new livery and with wing trimmer Chris Draper joining the team, the Australians displayed sharp tactical prowess. Their 3-5-1 race results included a commanding win in the third fleet race, a particularly impressive feat given their past struggles in lighter wind conditions. Perth, Australia. Makeshift opener Cricket-Rahul repaid the faith India have showed in him despite recent struggles, helping to put the touring side in the driving seat against Australia in the first test in Perth on Saturday. Rahul finished unbeaten on 62 as India reached 172 without loss at the close on day 2, leading by 218 having bowled Australia out for 104. Cameron Smith joined early leader Elvis Smillie at the top of the rain-affected Australian PGA Championship leaderboard in Brisbane ahead of the final round, having hit a 6-under par 65 at Royal Queensland Golf Club on Saturday. Former Open champion Smith, aiming for his 4th Australian PGA title, pulled level with fellow Queenslander Smillie on 10 under par with Mark Leishman a shot behind. Retired tennis great Andy Murray has agreed to join Novak Djokovic's team and will coach him at the Australian Open next year, the Serbian 24-times Grand Slam champion said on Saturday. Briton Murray retired after this year's Olympics in Paris where Djokovic won the gold medal. Thank you for listening to Amaravati Today's Daily Sports Roundup. We're thrilled to keep you updated on the latest highlights and scores from the world of sports. Stay with us for more action-packed updates every day. Your support means everything.